The cost of IT in business can be staggering. From hardware and software expenses to services like internet and phone, you don't need to spend a fortune on IT to succeed. If your organization spends more than $500 monthly on any service, or you're considering signing a long-term contract, IT Enabled can help you manage your technology and minimize your costs. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation. IT Enabled, we're here to help.
Hi, I'm Tara Watson-Watkins, President and CEO of the Lufkin, Angelina County Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the Connect podcast, connecting business to the community. I'm here today with my co-host, Blake Pollino with BP Media Group.
So this week we are learning all about the city of Huntington. We have Mayor Todd Ricks and City Admin Bill Stewart back on the podcast to talk about what's new in Huntington and what the future looks like for this city. Let's get into that now.
We're honored today to have good friends from Huntington, Mayor Todd Ricks and City Administrator Bill Stewart. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Glad to have y'all on. Why don't you introduce yourselves, tell a little bit about your background, and then we'll get into all the nuts and bolts of Huntington.
No, go ahead.
I'm Bill Stewart. I have been there for 7 years this month, and am honored to be part of Huntington and part of the city and to work with Mayor Ricks and the City Council.
All right, I'm Todd Ricks. I'm the Huntington Mayor. I was elected last May. I was on council for close to 10 years before being elected mayor, and born and raised in Huntington, graduated there in '97, and just proud to serve my city.
That's awesome. So tell us about your journey of becoming mayor. You said you were on city council. Is it something you had always aspired to be one day?
Not at all. I always joke, my father, he was transportation director at Huntington Schools, and growing up, I worked there in the summers, and I always told him, when I graduate and go to college, I will never work in the school transportation business. And then immediately started working the school transportation business. So I watched him grow up and serve the community. He served on council for 20 years or more. And so when he decided to retire, I decided it was time for me to step up and give back to Huntington, who's given back, to me so much. I love that town. And people joke with me, when it's time for re-election, I have my signs out. That's what I put, Todd Ricks, I love this town. But it's true, I do. I feel like Huntington's given a lot to me and my family, and I just wanted to serve the community. I feel like in every role that I do at the school, at the city, I try and serve the community and do the best I can for them.
What is sort of the state of Huntington right now? How big a town is it? How many people are you serving? What's kind of going on in Huntington?
We have about 2,100 people. When you look at different sites with the state of Texas, you see different population amounts, everything from 2,040 to 2,470, so it depends. So to be honest with you, we're not sure exactly what the population is because the different sites give different figures, but probably somewhere around 2,100 people. Our town is growing, not just population-wise, but the number of units of housing has increased. We have several houses that are being built. We have some duplexes being built. We have some new businesses coming in. And with the county headed toward the south end, all the business and the residential business going toward the south end of the county, we're right there where we're beginning to grow.
That's great. That's awesome. So are these both full-time roles for both of you there at the city?
It's full-time for me.
Not for me.
Okay, yeah. That's a misconception about the mayor role for a lot of people don't understand.
Well, for some cities it is. Huntington's a type B city, so he pretty much runs the city during the day, and in the mayor role, I make appearances, I run the city meetings, I work with him on stuff like that, but pretty much day to day, him and our city secretary run. So, and they do a good job,
That's great.
I think in a mayor role like this, you have to have confidence in the people that are working there full time during the day while I'm at my job, so it makes it easier for us in the council. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and with you being from there, you've got a great concept and a great grasp on what Huntington is and where you'd like to see it grow. And I'm sure that y'all work together all the time to watch those things come to fruition.
Yeah, and that's something I think some of the citizens of Huntington, they're kind of leery about. They don't want Huntington to be a big city, but I try and tell people, even if we doubled our population, which will never happen in any of our lifetimes. You know, we would be a little bit bigger than Diboll.
Yeah.
So Diboll still has a small town feel. It still feels like Huntington to me, but you know, they fear that, which I understand. That's one reason I like Huntington, because it's that small town. But I think we can grow, you know, get more businesses, more residents, and still have the Huntington we all grew up with. And I'm trying to calm that fear in people so we can grow and get to that point. So.
Sure. So you've been mayor since May. What has been your favorite part so far?
This may be one.
Nice. We like to rank on people's favorite list.
It's just getting to know people, getting to know the ins and outs of, you know, the city more, getting to serve my community. I had the high school principal I went to school with, Shane Stover, and we always joke. Someone told him a few months ago, they said, who would have thought in 1996 that one day Shane Stover would be the high school principal and Todd Ricks would be the mayor of Huntington? So no, I've enjoyed it. Like I said, just getting to work with all the citizens, doing these interviews. Another thing, I guess, came with being mayor is I started writing an article for the Huntington Herald.
Nice.
And the title of it is "Hello, My Name Is," like the name tag. And I highlight, kind of like you guys are doing here for the county, I highlight a different citizen of Huntington every month that people, they probably deal with them every day. They may know their name, but they don't know their history or how they got to where they are. So I do that in the article. And I tell basically when they were born to how they got to where they're at now, just to get people to know, you know, the people that make Huntington go around, let them get to know them a little better. So that's been one of my favorite things, is getting to know those individuals a little better, but not only them, just the whole town. And like I said, I love Huntington. It's dear to my heart. Anytime we go on vacation, you know, we went to Colorado for Christmas 2020, and it was so beautiful. And just me and my wife were like, we should retire here. But after a week, we're like, we want to get back to Huntington. Yeah. So there's just something about this area, you know, this place. It's so magical. I love it.
I think it's the people too.
I do too.
Yeah.
You don't have that other places. We've noticed that everywhere we've traveled, that, you know, people just aren't as nice.
No,
so.
They're not.
Yeah.
East Texas is just good folk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
It really is. So you talked a little bit about the maybe potential fear of Huntington growing by maybe some of the citizens. What other obstacles are you facing in Huntington right now? If any, it could be just perfect. Lack of money.
and that's always a problem. With some of the things that have happened in the legislature, our ability to have revenue from property taxes is not as great as it was at one point. The situation with COVID has hurt. Of course, it's been that way nationwide, but it's certainly hurt our town. But we're still growing, and financially, we're doing better as far as being able to do what needs to be done for our cities, for our city with infrastructure, than had been done in a long time. But problems, goodness, we have businesses that want to come to Huntington, but being able to find the right piece of property, being able to find the right fit, and then with some, getting someone to agree to come to Huntington in spite of the fact that we don't have a large volume of traffic. We have, according to TxDOT, every day we have over 25,000 cars who come through Huntington. But some of the businesses are saying that's not enough. You need to be a larger city for us to consider coming there. So another one of the drawbacks of being a small town. But overall, our people are good. Our people want to see the city do well. They want to see the entire community do well. And we've got a great council. We've got a great mayor. So we have a lot of positives that are current, and we have a lot of positives that are on their way.
That's great.
So I know you've got different projects going on. What are some of the current projects and maybe some future projects that you hope will come?
Can you speak to that?
We have applied for and received grants to redo our water system.
Nice.
Also, we have a grant to redo our sewer system. That will enable us to replace water lines that are in some cases as old as 70 years old.
Right.
Sewer lines as old as 70 years old. Problems continuous with those lines. As far as the sewer project is concerned, we're replacing manholes, we're replacing lift stations. Water, we're going to replace as many lines as possible, put in new taps. We're moving lines from the middle of streets. We have a lot of our water lines under the streets. We're trying to get those out from under the streets, so if there's a problem, we don't have to tear up our streets.
Sure.
We are in the final phase of having our sewer system, our water treatment plant, sewer plant, finalized. We're expanding it, we're renovating it, so it'll have greater capacity for not just our current amount of usage, but for the next 25 to 30 years as well, which will encompass all that growth that we're hoping will come forth.
That's right.
We've also applied for a natural gas grant through the U.S. Department of Transportation that will enable us to upgrade our natural gas system, to expand that, have a greater source of natural gas so we can make sure we have enough gas to supply all of our residential, commercial, and industrial customers. Still waiting to hear something from that. Hopefully we'll hear soon. But things like that, and we're looking at getting grants for, from Texas Department of Public, TxDOT, Texas Department of Public,
Transportation.
Transportation, thank you, couldn't think of the word, to build some more sidewalks in town so that our people have access to go from certain areas to stores, to businesses, to the doctor's office, without having to get onto the highway itself. We've already had TxDOT build one sidewalk for us that came about as a result of having a gentleman who was hit by a car a few years ago, and it was a fatal injury. So we're trying to do things like that to make things safer and better for our city.
Nice.
Well, I'll tell you, as far as the upgrades, you never think growing up that the sewer plant will excite you.
Yeah.
But I've been out there several times. It's just amazing. You know, not only are we building a new part of it, which is 5 times bigger than the old system, we're also renovating the old system so it will work in tandem with the new system. And it's just excited me to see that. And I tell people, it's hard as a mayor and a council and a city administrator. The citizens, for their money, they want to see stuff being done in front of them. So the sewer and the water stuff, they don't really see that, but that's a good thing. You don't want them to see that.
That's right.
I mean, nobody cares about sewer until it's coming up in your toilet at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Then it's the
wrong
most
spot.
important thing. So for us to be able to do that for the citizens, I've really been happy to do that. And I've enjoyed seeing the progress. And like I said, once it's all done, our citizens will never have to worry about that. And, you know, just like most small towns in East Texas, the roads are the number one thing. And we're trying, you know, right now we're trying to fix 2 or 3 roads a year. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but we're doing them the right way. We're hiring a company. They dig down to the base, which is the only way to do it right.
That's right.
They put new base and they asphalt it. And in the meantime, we have a guy, all he does 8 hours a day, 5 days a week is patch holes. And that's really helped improve. You know, I think most people understand on a city our size with a budget, we're not going to be able to have concreted, you know, highways. But I think the citizens are okay with kind of a little bit bumpy road, you know. They're not okay with potholes this big around.
That's
and,
right.
You know, so I think we can help them with that and try and get those roads done. But yeah, like I said, we've got lots of projects coming, and I hope to continue them.
That's great.
Very cool. So you talked about the projects, but what's the overall future of Huntington look like?
Really, it looks good because of the expected growth. Because when you look from a nationwide standpoint at potential economic, financial growth, that's going to affect our people. When we look at the number of houses that are being built, the way the county is growing, more jobs, more people are coming outside of the city of Lufkin because they want to get to smaller areas, to rural areas. So we're growing. The the future of the city looks good from that standpoint, as well as the fact that we know that land will be sold, land will be bought, businesses will be brought in. We have O'Reilly Auto Parts that is coming in and should start construction hopefully within the next 3 or 4 months.
That's great.
We have new pizza place, Simple Simon's Pizza. So things like that are beginning to happen. So our future from that standpoint looks good. That, and we're growing a lot of our own people. In other words, we have younger families who are having children, growing up much the same environment that Mayor Ricks did. People who love the city and want to see it grow and thrive.
That's great.
Those are the type of people you want there.
Right.
Just
Absolutely.
that they have, a buy-in. So, well, we can't wait to see what the future of Huntington is under both of your leaderships, and we appreciate the friendship and just the camaraderie that we have with y'all. So thank you for all that you do for
thank you,
us,
yes.
and we love doing regionalism, so it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all for being on.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you coming on the podcast and you coming on the show again. We'll have to have you back, much to probably your dismay.
It's been-
Not your favorite thing, huh? But
It's been an honor.
you do great on these. Thank you so much. Thank y'all so much for listening again this week. We truly appreciate your support. Do us a favor and share this episode of the podcast with somebody. Wherever you're listening, you can press the share button and send that via text, email, share it on social media, however you'd like. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.